A shadow moves through the dark, gone before you even notice. What if the most mysterious warriors in history were more real than you think? Are ninjas actually real? Today, we're diving into the true history behind Japan's most legendary shadow warriors. In movies and video games, ninjas were all black, throw shuriken, and disappear in a puff of smoke. It's a cool image, but how much of that is actually true? Here's the key part. Ninjas were real. In Japan, they were called shinobi, which roughly means one who endures. They were covert agents, spies, scouts, and sometimes assassins who operated during Japan's feudal era, roughly between the 1300s and 1600s. They weren't supernatural. They were highly trained humans who used psychology, chemistry, and physical skill to get results. Here's something surprising. Most ninjas didn't actually wear black. That part? Almost entirely fiction. What's fascinating is that the most effective ninja disguise was an ordinary life. Shinobi were trained to blend into society as farmers, monks, merchants, or traveling performers. Their greatest weapon wasn't a sword, it was anonymity. By looking completely unremarkable, they could move through enemy territory without raising a single alarm. Think of it as the world's first undercover operation. Two regions became the heartland of ninja culture, Iga and Koga, both in central Japan. These clans were known for producing the most skilled and feared shinobi in the country. Ninja training was brutal and started young, sometimes as early as age 5. Children were put through endurance conditioning, long-distance running, climbing, swimming, and breath control. As they got older, training expanded to include stealth movement, how to fall silently, lock-picking, map reading, and even acting. This multi-discipline system was called ninjutsu. It wasn't just about fighting, it was about surviving in any environment. In other words, ninjas were less like assassins and more like intelligence operatives. Information was their primary product. Now, what about the gadgets? Shuriken, those iconic throwing stars, were real, but they weren't typically used to kill. They were mostly distractions, thrown to buy time to escape. Smoke bombs, caltrops, small spikes dropped on the ground to slow pursuers, and grappling hooks were all documented tools. What's fascinating is that these weren't exotic weapons. They were practical solutions to specific problems, designed by people thinking like engineers, not warriors. Ninjas also had serious chemical knowledge. They used flash powders to blind enemies, plant-based poisons, and even early versions of sleeping agents mixed into food or drink. So who was paying for all this? Feudal lords called daimyo hired shinobi clans to gather intelligence, sabotage enemy fortresses, and occasionally eliminate high-value targets. One of the most famous warlords of the era, Oda Nobunaga, reportedly hired over 100 Iga ninja for his campaigns. These weren't rogue agents. They were professionals operating under contract. Here's where it gets interesting. Samurai operated under a strict code of honor. Ninjas had no such restrictions. Whatever got the job done. In 1581, Oda Nobunaga launched a full military invasion of the Iga region with roughly 40,000 troops. His goal? Wipe out the ninja clans entirely. The Iga shinobi, vastly outnumbered, couldn't hold out. Many fled. Many were killed. The event is known as the Tensho Iga War. It marked the beginning of the end for organized ninja clans as independent forces. After this, surviving shinobi went deeper underground, some serving directly under the Tokugawa shogunate. Some shinobi were absorbed into the government as official intelligence agents, essentially Japan's first organized spy network, centuries before the CIA or MI6 ever existed. As Japan entered the modern era in the late 1800s, the need for covert shadow agents faded. Firearms changed warfare. Political stability reduced the demand for assassination. Most ninja clans dissolved or merged into mainstream society. But here's the twist. The knowledge didn't disappear. It went underground, passed down through private family lineages. There's a man named Junichi Kawakami who claims to be Japan's last true ninja. He's the 21st head of the Ban family. a shinobi lineage stretching back centuries. Kawakami began training under his master at age 6, learning everything from poison resistance to stealth movement to ancient chemistry. He's now in his 70s, holds a PhD, and serves as a curator for the Aijiru Ninja Museum in Japan. Here's the most striking part. He has chosen not to pass on the ninjutsu tradition. He believes that in modern society, there's no ethical use for it. So when he dies, he says the true lineage ends. That said, ninjutsu-based martial arts schools exist around the world, with millions of students. Whether they carry the true tradition is debated, but the discipline, the philosophy, and the techniques live on. So here's the bottom line. Ninjas were real. Not magic. Not superhuman. They were extraordinarily disciplined people who mastered the art of being underestimated. Their real power wasn't a smoke bomb or a throwing star. It was the ability to think clearly under pressure, adapt to any situation, and vanish in a plain sight. That's a skill set that's honestly still relevant today. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, a ninja would probably approve. You stayed patient, stayed focused, and gathered all the intel. That's the shinobi way.